Hello, this is Daniel. This is Down to the Wire. Welcome into this edition, and let's get right into it. One of the main storylines around the NBA is who's going to get the 8th spot in the West, and let's get started. So, the favorite is the Memphis Grizzlies. They have a 3.5 game lead over the Trailblazers, the Portland Trailblazers, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Sacramento Kings. And I'm going to go through the pros and cons for each team of their chances getting into the playoffs. And for the Grizzlies, they get Justice Winslow, who's averaging 12 points per game, so that's a really nice addition. Also, they get Jaren Jackson Jr. back and Brandon Clark from injury, so that also gives them an extra boost. And they're 3.5 games ahead of the remaining teams that are trying to get the 8th spot. And John Morant put on 12 pounds of muscle, so that's very good. He needed to put on muscle, and that's very good. So, and then the Trailblazers, the con for the Grizzlies is they have one of the toughest schedules remaining, and that's one of the only cons I have for the Grizzlies. I mean, they're young, but that's about it. And then for the Trailblazers, the 3.5 games back, and then, Zach Collins, everybody acts like he's such a big addition, but he's not even that key to their team. I mean, that's what people think, but I don't think he is. And they don't know if they're getting Zach Collins back for sure, and you never know. I mean, I know they get Nurkic back, but we don't know if he'll be 100% at this point. So there's a lot of question marks surrounding their injuries and if they'll be 100% coming back. But their con is they get Nurkic back. So, I mean, he's going to help them a lot, but I don't know if he'll be enough to take them over the Grizzlies, who have a 3.5 game lead. And then the Pelicans, they're also 3.5 games back. They have a lack of experience. I mean, especially heading into the playoffs, they have a bunch of young players. Besides J.J. Redick, a lot of them are under 25 years old. Also Drew Holiday, but they don't. Drew Holiday, I mean, he's a good player, but he's not. I mean, he's pretty good, but he's not a star right now in this league. I mean, he's a 30-year-old, and he's starting to head downhill. But, I mean, J.J. Redick, he's not a star either. He's a sharpshooter, but, I mean, I know he's been in the playoffs every year in his career, but just a really young core besides them two. And I think one of their cons is they rely way too much on Zion ever since he came back. I mean, if you take Zion out, they were just a terrible team. I mean, they were left just behind by every other team, and once Zion came back, they made a little push. But I think it's too late for the Blazers and the Pelicans at this point. Even if they got into, let's say, a play-in game with the Grizzlies, they'd have to beat them twice, and the Grizzlies only have to beat them once. So I'm thinking right now I think it's the Grizzlies. I think it's the Grizzlies' 8th spot that they're gonna have to play really good and win every game to take the Grizzlies out of that 8th spot. It's gonna be really hard, but I think the Grizzlies, when it's all said and done, will be the 8th seed in the Western Conference. And breaking news from yesterday from the NFL: Patrick Mahomes signs a 10-year extension with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's worth about $503 million for his total contract. So, I mean, the Chiefs have him locked up. It's about $45 million a year, and he's the best player in the NFL right now, and by far the best quarterback. He's got a really strong arm, and he's also a little bit mobile. So, I mean, a great decision right now for the Chiefs to give him 10 years, to have him through 2031, so they have him for a long time, and they get to enjoy his talent. So, just a really nice a really nice contract they got done by Brett Veach and Andy Reid, just to keep having Mahomes there for multiple years to come, and just a great deal for the Kansas City Chiefs. And an update on Tennessee football recruiting. A couple days ago, Samel Munden, a 5-star outside linebacker, the number 1 outside linebacker in the 2021 class, he put Tennessee in his top 5, so that's very good for Tennessee, and hopefully Pruitt can get him to come to Tennessee and just it would be really nice to have 2 5-star linebackers in this 2021 class. But, I mean, I think Pruitt's doing a really good job, and, I mean, if he gets Munden, that would be a huge pickup and just really solidify this class and make Tennessee a really scary defense. So, it's promising that Tennessee's in the top 5, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee lands him, or he's one of the top 3 or 2 schools that he chooses. So I think Tennessee is one of the driver's seats for his commit. I mean, he's up there. So I think Monday. I think it's between Tennessee and Georgia and Alabama, but I think Tennessee might have a slight edge. I mean, many people think it's Georgia, but I think it's Tennessee who has the slight edge. So Tennessee has a very good chance to land Munden, and Munden is a really nice player. Now, many people always toss around this question: who owns the state of Tennessee in basketball? Is it Tennessee or Memphis? I mean, it's not Vanderbilt because they're always bad. It's Tennessee or Memphis. Well, I have the facts for you tonight to tell you who owns the state and who is the top dog. So let's first start off with the overall matches and the record between each teams. Overall, Tennessee is 15-12 versus the Memphis Tigers. So Tennessee has the advantage in overall wins. So that already gives Tennessee the win. But I'll just keep going. But for the future, to see who will have the better record in the future, we're going to go and talk about Memphis. Who did they lose this past season? James Wiseman, one of the top players last year, and he's going to be the top 3 pick, maybe the first pick. And also Precious Achiuwa, who will be a first-round pick. So those are Memphis's 2 top players, and they're going to miss them a lot because besides them, they didn't have that many contributors. Besides Achiuwa and Wiseman, they're gonna lose a lot of production right there, and that's gonna be hard for Penny Hardaway to get back. But coming back, they have a little bit of excitement. I mean, Lester Quinones, 10.7 points per game. He was a 4-star in the 2019 class. He averaged 3.8 rebounds per game. And then DJ Jeffries, 10.8 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game. And Tyler Harris, 8.7 points per game and 1.8 rebound per game. But, I mean, Memphis is losing a ton of their production from last year. And what are they bringing back? Their top scorer from last year's 10.7 points per game. That's very unacceptable. And everybody acts like Penny Hardaway is such a good recruiter. Let's go to the recruiting. They haven't gained. I mean, their one person that they're going to gain this year is Ahmad Rand, a 3-star, and their overall recruiting for 2020 is 133rd in the nation. You heard me right, 133 in the nation. That's terrible. It's unacceptable for Penny Hardaway, who was number 1 last year in recruiting. I mean, Memphis cannot just keep going on with the players that they had last year, who were, I mean, not that good. Besides Wiseman and Achiuwa, this team was not a good team. And when you replace him with a 3-star and you have the 133rd recruiting class, that's not going to help at all. Let's go to Tennessee. Who did they lose? They lost Lamonte Turner, who with a broken arm, and I mean that was early in the season. So that was a big loss. But I mean, for the majority of the season, we didn't have him, so you couldn't really see how much of a loss he was. And Bowden, he had a lot of shooting slumps last year, so I don't think we didn't see as much production as we thought we would because his 3-point percentage was down a lot. I mean, I know he's a senior leader, but he was only averaging over 10 points per game, so that's not a huge loss. But Tennessee's a lot coming back. John Fulkerson, Tennessee's leading scorer, averaged 13.7 points per game, and 5.9 rebounds, almost 6 rebounds. That's pretty good. And then Yves Pons, 10.8 points per game. I mean, he can jump out of the gym, average 5.4 rebounds per game, and listen to this, led the SEC in blocks with 2.4 blocks per game. I mean, he's the best blocker in the SEC, and he's one of the most athletic people in the country right now. And you also bring back Santiago Vescovi, averaged 10.7 points per game, and he's a sharpshooter from the 3-point line. But he does need to clean up a little bit of his turnovers, but he's a very bright spot. He'll be a sophomore next year. And then Josiah Jordan-James averaged 7.4 points per game and 5 rebounds per game. He was a 5-star. He didn't show as much production as we liked, but hopefully Rick Barnes can get his production level up, and hopefully he can be what he was supposed to be as a 5-star. But Tennessee gained a lot in recruiting and by transfers, starting with 5-star Jaden Springer, a point guard from IMG Academy. And then you have 5-star Keon Johnson, a shooting guard. He's just a really good prospect. Can shoot the 3-ball and is very athletic too. He likes to stretch the floor. And then a 4-star Corey Walker, a power forward. Reminds me. I mean, people are gonna call me crazy for this, but reminds me of a little bit. Not as sort of like a Kevin Durant. I mean, I know I'm shocking you right now, but he's not at Kevin Durant's level. He's like a stretch four, very athletic. I mean, I'm not saying he's Kevin Durant, but he's just a really nice athletic player. And then you get a transfer, EJ Anasicki from Sacred Heart, averaged over 14, maybe 15 points per game and 10 rebounds. So averaged a double-double, very good, coming from Sacred Heart. So that was a really nice pickup for the Vols too. I mean, many people are already having Tennessee in their top 10, so this team's going to be loaded. And Memphis is just, I don't think they're going to be in the top 25. They have a long way to go. And if you want me to tell you who's the best in the state and who owns it, it's Tennessee. They have the overall record 15-12 against Memphis, so Tennessee wins for this category. Go to the phones. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
Hello?
Hello, you're on.
This is Bo from Doe.
Hello, Bo.
I heard you say earlier that the Pelicans and the Trailblazers aren't good enough to catch the Grizzlies. Well, I know a team that is.
Who?
The Suns.
I have to disagree with you there. The Suns are 5+ games back, and the only player they have is Devin Booker.
Do you know who's on their team?
Who?
You don't know who's on their team?
Yes.
Name some players.
Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Ricky Rubio, Dario Saric, and many other players.
Okay, well, you named a few that are average players, but I'll name you a few that are elite players.
Okay.
Elio Kobo, Chuck Diallo, Aaron Baines, who dunked on Ja Morant, Ty Jerome, Jalen Lecque, Tariq Owens, and Cameron Payne.
Well,
You also missed Michael Bridges, even though he is a minimal factor in their team.
Well, out of the players you said, I think Aaron Baines is a solid player for their team, but the rest of them barely see the court.
Actually, I think Jalen Lecque is good. Played 4 games, averaged 2.5 points per game, and 0 assists.
I have to disagree with you there. I think the Suns, it'd almost be impossible for them to win, but
Shot 4% from 3.
that's not that good. But thank you for your call. Let's go back to the phones. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
If you can hear me, I wanted to see if you thought that Mahomes' contract was overpriced and if Kansas City is paying him too much money. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, I think the Chiefs got a good deal out of it. I don't think they paid him too much because I think he's worth every penny of it. They probably could have given him more because he's such a good player. I mean, he's getting $45 million per year for 10 years. I mean, the Chiefs have him locked up until 2031. So, I mean, I think it was a great contract for the Chiefs, and they got him for a great price. But thank you for your call. Let's go to the phones again. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
Daniel Elridge Devin Rithersfield III.
Hello, Elridge.
What's the topics tonight, Daniel?
The race for the 8th seed in the Western Conference, UT and Memphis basketball, Tennessee football recruiting, and the Patrick Mahomes deal.
What about who dominates Tennessee in basketball? The state of Tennessee.
Yes. We sort of talked about that earlier. I said it was between Memphis and Tennessee.
Where did you come out?
I said I think Tennessee has the advantage. If you look at the overall record between the teams, Tennessee versus Memphis, Tennessee has won 15 times against Memphis' 12.
I think you might have a little bias based upon your privilege, Daniel. Do you recall who won the last basketball game, Daniel?
Yes, but Tennessee, the best player was playing with a broken arm.
Oh, really? I guess Wiseman not playing is
has no criteria towards your conclusion?
Well, I know Wiseman wasn't playing, but Tennessee didn't play their best game. But as you recall, the year before that, Tennessee beat the snot out of Memphis at Memphis. So when Tennessee had all their players, they whooped Memphis. And Memphis only beat Tennessee by about 5 points.
That's history, Daniel. If you want to know who dominates in Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, you look to the last game. And the last game, Memphis dominated. And I can't recall, Daniel, was that at Knoxville or was that in Memphis?
That was in Knoxville, but when Tennessee played in Memphis, Tennessee whooped them. So, I mean, I think this year we'll really see how good Memphis is when they have their best player coming back is averaging 10 points per game, and Tennessee has 2 5-stars coming in, and Memphis' best recruit coming in is a 3-star. So they lost both.
I do remember Tennessee stealing a win from Memphis the year prior, and I do remember that unsolicited violence at the end of the game by the Knoxville Hillbillies.
Well, Memphis was flopping a lot, and Penny Hardaway blamed it on Rick Barnes, and I thought that was low class by Penny Hardaway.
Well, what I think's low class, Daniel, is to come into an arena and start fist pumping and threatening violence against a well-paid Memphis team.
I think that that is a made-up story, and Memphis people just made that up because they got whooped by an in-state rival that they do not like.
Well, we're not even discussing how Tennessee orchestrated the ineligibility of Wiseman, are we?
No.
Well, I'll leave it at that, Daniel.
Thank you for your call, Elridge. Let's go back to the phones again. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
Yes, hi, this is Carrie from Caryville. I was just calling to get a little bit of an update on the high school football, PSSAA. I heard that sometime soon they're supposed to be deciding on this year schedule, and wondered if you knew anything about the timing of that and what they're going to do. If you have any inside sources on when the schools are going to be able to start, or if they're going to be able to start. And also, I'd like to have an update on the Knoxville Catholic football practices. I understand they are up and running now, starting yesterday, and I wondered how that was going. If there are any players that are shining in particular. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Down to the wire.
Thank you, Carrie. To your question about the TSSAA, tomorrow they will be ruling at 10 what's the plan for football. So, as of right now, I don't really know for sure, but I mean, they're letting you watch the meeting tomorrow at 10. It's going to be live. So, tomorrow they'll know for sure what's going to happen. I mean, I think they're still going to not let people have a contacted practice for a while. But I think right now, with the season pushed back 2 weeks until August 20th, I think that's a smart idea. For the schools, I don't really know right now. I think they're trying to do August 3rd, but I mean, you never know. It could get pushed back if the virus somehow spurts up again. But hopefully it starts back when it's supposed to. And then for Knoxville Catholic, it's pretty much the regular practice without pads. I mean, they're pretty much going full into it, going from 8 o'clock to about 11:30. So it's about 3.5 hour practice. I've heard that they do weightlifting and speed and agility, and then the other half they do a bunch of football. On the field stuff, half offense, half defense. But I think I've heard Cade Martin is doing very well. Tommy Witten also looking very well too. And Nicholas Iverson, running back, he's looking pretty good too. He's a starting corner, and he did really good. Had some interceptions today in practice when I was scouting. The wide receiver group is very talented. You have Tommy, you have Sam O'Leary, Landon Cox, Sam Sombrag, just a very good group of guys. And I wrote nice backup in Joseph Iverson. I mean, he has pretty good hands. That's what I've heard around the team. And Daniel Iverson, pretty fast wide receiver. He's got great hands, a really good route runner. So I think he's doing really good as a freshman so far. But the defense Knoxville Catholic is looking very well. Obviously, they got Robert Ayers Jr. from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after he retired. He's now the defensive line coach, and he's working. The defensive line is looking very well too. So I think there's a lot to be excited about if you're for Knoxville Catholic. But I mean, I think they have a lot of bright future there at Knoxville Catholic. Let's go back to the phones. Hello, you're on Down to the Wire.
Hello, this is a Purity. I was wondering, I saw on the Twitter sphere that why is Zion on the cover of 2K and not John Morant? And then what? I'm just confused.
Thank you for your call, Pearney. Well, I don't really know. I think it should have been John Morant. It's the 2K21 Next Gen. It's going to be for the PS5. But I think I don't understand why, because he was only there for 15 games, and Ja was there for the whole season, and he's going to get Rookie of the Year. So I still don't understand that. It's just biased because the whole NBA just does not like the Grizzlies for some reason. I guess because they're a small market. But so is the Pelicans. But I think they just overhyped Zion too much, and I think John Morant should have been on it. But the NBA just does not, and 2K just does not like the Grizzlies, and they always favor Zion over Ja. But Ja is a better player, and he's getting Rookie of the Year, so Ja should have been on it. But thank you for your call, Pearney. Thanks for watching this episode of Down to the Wire, and I hope to see you soon.